My name is Danny Yamashiro. I serve as a Cambridge Roundtable faculty chaplain at MIT. I also serve as vice chair of the board of the Octet Collaborative. One of the greatest obstacles I see for human flourishing at MIT would ironically be losing sight of the fact that we are human. And by that I mean this, that MIT is such an extraordinary place that for someone beyond the bounds of the MIT community, well, for them it might seem like some otherworldly place, or perhaps even like going to the moon. There is such a concentration of brilliance and thereby a synergism that is strapped onto the engine of resources and ingenuity, innovation, excellence. And these very combinations lead to a great deal of impact, production, and of course, potential. But therein lies the crux. When we think about human flourishing, I think we need to first think about human survival. At a place like MIT where there is such pressure with people of high capacity, someone may even think these people have superpowers of some kind to be able to do the things that they do. And this is where it stands. If we lose sight of humanity, for example, the motto of MIT, mens et manus, mind and hand, or thought and action. That's all good, but we could also lose sight of the reality that as human beings, we are relational people, we are spiritual people, and so on. People of the heart. Perhaps mens manus cor et anima may be more appropriate. Mind, hand, heart, and spirit. I think about Langston Hughes, who wrote this poem, Minstrel Man, in 1925. Because my mouth is wide with laughter, and my throat deep with song, you do not think I suffer after I have held my pain so long. Because my mouth is wide with laughter, you do not hear my inner cry. Because my feet are gay with dancing, you do not know I die. And that's just the thing. It suggests that there's more to the inner life of any human being, and all the more for a person at MIT, faculty, staff, student. What are the inner lives like? And if we pay more attention to that, even with the great potential and the impact, we will have that much more beauty and texture and breadth in the quality of life in the MIT campus. And there, we would not have lost sight of the potential for human flourishing. I see God at work at MIT through faculty, staff, and students. Of course, with each of these, there are relationships. And the relationships all come with a kind of interstices within themselves of nuanced relationships wherein God is at work personally through the lives of people. When I think about the personal way in which God is working, I think about some who are perhaps more overt in their expression, and others who are more discreet in their expression of faith. And more specifically, I'm speaking about the Christian faith. As a Christian chaplain, the Christian faith. And God being at work through people also suggests very strongly that they sense a calling from God and that they have responded to that calling. It sort of reminds me of the book of Esther, for such a time as this. But the wokos, the calling, is personalized. It's in a space of such customization, almost like a boutique kind of approach that God gives to people for other people in their relational capabilities in various contexts. And these are people who are being nourished and nurtured through ministries like the Octet Collaborative. But I would say in such a more heightened way, because Octet, at this time, through the vision of Mia and the board, and the outflowing of the staff, is doing something with great beauty and awe and wonder, while engaging rigorously in the academic world, and at the same time creating space for engagement, for meaningful conversations that are in themselves meaning-making experiences. And that is why I think this nourishment and nurture is so vital at this moment, because each person who is watered and receives the sunlight of Octet goes back to their own communities a more bolstered, a more refreshed, a sharper and more intuitive person, not only in the work, but even spiritually. Because of course, as the work is being done through the Spirit, it manifests in the material world, in the relational world. And that is the beauty of the Octet Collaborative. And that is the wonder of what God is doing on the MIT campus. The fingerprints, the handiwork